Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. Let's get things going with Red River Kingdom.
Red River Kingdom. In this world, there is no Canada. There is no America. Only the Red River Kingdom. Founded not by gentle diplomacy or cold bureaucracy, but by conquest and prophecy, the kingdom emerged from the fire and snow of the 19th century under the iron will and divine madness of a man reborn. Louis Riel, not the martyr of our history books, but the supreme commander, the father of a kingdom forged from rebellion, reconciliation, and the trampling of kings. He had been a religious man in our timeline, a visionary broken by the colonial yoke. But in this world, something snapped forward, not back. When they tried to hang him after the Red River Resistance, he did not die. He survived the noose with scars on his neck and fire in his eyes. The men who tried to execute him fled when he stood up, rope still dangling like a halo of defiance. From that moment on, the conquest began. Unity became his religion, and war became his liturgy. He proclaimed that the land from the Hudson Bay to the Gulf of Mexico would be one people. Métis, settler, First Nations, freedmen, abolitionists, ex-slaves, and immigrant laborers, none would be divided again by invented lines of empire. They followed him, not because they had to, but because he made them believe. Louis Riel, now a mountain of a man, his shoulders wide as timber beams, his coat-layered form looking like he wore the weight of nations, towered over his generals and ministers. It was said he wore many coats to deflect bullets, but in truth, he wore no armor. His body, like his will, was unbreakable. 7 feet tall, voice like thunder under glass, eyes that shimmered like fire behind ice, he was not a man you could say no to. He rode always with his companion, Jumbo Top, an enormous elephant who had also survived execution. Originally named after 2 famous elephants of the old world, Jumbo and Topsy, this hybrid beast had been electrocuted by rail barons in a failed act of public cruelty. But Louis Riel found the creature twitching, still alive, steam rising from its hide. He named it Jumbo Top, and ever after it bore him into battle with brass plating on its tusks and bells on its ears. The people said it too had become more than animal, a symbol of all that would not die. The Red River Kingdom consumed the fractured remnants of the United States and Canada in a long, unstoppable crusade. Capitalists fled. Monarchists wept. Parliament and Congress fell silent. Territories reformed into wards of the river, named not for provinces or states, but for the great currents that once carved the land. Courthouses were repurposed as tribunals of the people, and every judge bore the banner of the supreme commander above their seat. The Constitution was rewritten to begin. We, the river people, declare that the land is sacred, the cultures many, and the kingdom eternal. There is no date of death for Louis Riel. Officially, he still lives. Despite it now being the 2020s, the courts still recognize the Supreme Commander as capable of overturning rulings. In several key civil rights cases, a final authority is listed as pending review by Supreme Commander Riel. When questioned, scholars claim he was last seen riding east across the prairies on Jumbo Top into a rising fog bank. They say no body was ever found. His jackets were folded neatly beside a smoldering campfire. Some say he ascended. Others believe he lives beneath Parliament Hill, reshaping history with his dream. Still others say he wanders, inspecting towns, intervening when freedom is crushed. There are dozens of verified accounts of an unkillable giant man and a bell-ringing elephant showing up when authorities overstep. Footage is always blurry, audio distorted, but the message is always the same. Freedom for all, divide no more. And then, the courts overturn the ruling. The people cheer, the river flows on, and the kingdom endures.
Well, that's a alternate history if I ever heard one. I don't know if it's so much an alternate history as much as what if Louis Riel was just a completely different person in every way. But I hope you enjoyed that. And I don't know why it seemed to say Red River Kingdom at the beginning. It does weird little sound effect things every once in a while, and I don't know why it made that little sound at the beginning, but I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Um, and as always, I want to wish you all the luck in the world, and I want you to remember that I love you. Alrighty. Talk to you later.